Crypto is on fire right now, recently breaking through another key level of resistance with a move catching many people by surprise. The big question now though is, where are prices headed next? Now, in my last video, we talked about the two big competing narratives going head to head right now. On one side, we have the massively bullish ETF and halving narrative going against the bearish recession narrative. And as we close out the end of the year, things are really starting to heat up. Now, just remember, everything is pretty much only probabilities, but I'm in the camp that next year is going to be a huge year for crypto. And so in this video, we'll be looking at how this bull market is progressing so far, where are we in this market cycle, and where could prices be going next. Then, where do we think prices could be by the time of the Bitcoin halving, and how high could this thing ultimately go? And then we'll finish up with the biggest developments that have happened in just the past couple of weeks. Okay, so first up, I think 2024 is going to be a massive year for digital assets. However, when we look at where we are in the market cycle right now, compared to previous ones, something very interesting has just happened. So here we are back with one of my favorite charts in crypto, and this is the cycle bottom. And it's pretty much everything we need in just one chart, as it clearly shows the big bull markets, the big bear markets, and crypto winters, and where we're at right now. And this is all based around the halving event going through the middle, set to be about April time next year. So at the end of Q1. Now, the insane price action that's happened over the past month, Bitcoin up 20%, Coinbase up 60%, is just this little move here. How crazy is that when we think about what crypto can be doing over the coming year? So it's certainly a very exciting time to be in the crypto market right now. As this moves higher, it pretty much cements that this was the market bottom, and very, very interesting that it was the exact same bottom after the first cycle. It was the same bottom in the next cycle and the same bottom again. So one of my big learnings is ignore all the narratives and opinions and just trust the market cycle. And if these were the bottom every single time, then it makes it even more likely, and why I'm in the camp that next year is going to be a big year for crypto. Now, I alluded to the fact that something very interesting had happened, and that is what is going on right now. And I'll just preface by saying, as an asset grows, it becomes harder to get multiples in price. So after the first cycle, this went up and did a 200x, and we should expect diminishing returns, as this was when Bitcoin's price was about $1. In the next cycle, it then went on to do a 100x, diminishing returns. Next cycle, a 20x, diminishing returns. And so we should expect this to continue. And so a natural, healthy progression is that this market would track under the previous cycles and probably top out maybe something like a 10x. So that would be the blow off top. And then maybe it'd spend quite a lot of time around this 5x. Well, let's just split these out and show you what's going on. So this is the current cycle against the very, very first one, the launch of Bitcoin, when Bitcoin was around $1. And remember, this one went on to do a 200x. Well, the amazing thing with the recent crazy price action is that we are ahead of this cycle. So this is a bit of a warning sign, because there's no way Bitcoin is going to go and do another 200x, not in this market cycle. Maybe in 5, 10, 20 years, but not in the next 18 months. Then when we look at the next cycle, cycle 2, and again it's the same picture. Although this one went on to do a 100x, right now we are ahead of this cycle as well. And the great thing about this cycle is that it shows the big corrections along the way. So if we track this, we have these epic runs and harsh corrections. Big runs, big corrections, and this went on the whole way. And what you'll notice is that the steeper the run, the bigger the price action, the harder it corrects. So what we actually want is just steady growth. Steady growth is a lot better psychologically for everybody. And this is just when your portfolio is pretty much growing every week, every month. When we do get these massive blowouts, although it feels really good in the moment as you're making loads and loads of money, typically you're going to get a sharp sell-off. And these can be quite painful, as these can be a third of your portfolio suddenly taken away, which is really not nice. So gradual growth is a lot better than these big run-ups. Massive drop. You get these huge runs, you're going to get a massive drop. So this one clearly shows that even in the bull market, we're going to get likely big corrections all along the way, and that is normal. Moving on, and we move on to the cycle that's just gone, and again it's the same picture. We are ahead of the cycle. So in every single one, we are tracking ahead. So what does this mean? Well, basically, I would say expect a sharp sell-off, because for us to get this natural diminishing returns, it has to be tracking below this cycle, and that is just fine. And the more we get these big jumps in price, as we saw in the last chart, the more it stays above all these cycles, the bigger a big correction is going to be. And what's interesting with the last market cycle was this epic event that happened here. So this was the global pandemic scare, a very nasty sell-off in crypto. And I think we may get a similar event, but maybe a little bit later in the cycle. As if we do go into a nasty recession, which could happen, we could get a big sell-off in risk assets. But historically, this would be an excellent buying opportunity. The Fed would likely be cutting rates very, very quickly. The money printer would be turned back on, and I still think by the end of the year, crypto is going to outperform everything else, even with a 30 to 50% drop. So as you can see, crazy stuff going on with this recent price action. We are now tracking ahead of all the previous cycles, which isn't necessarily a good thing. Now let's add some prices just to get some perspective. So if Bitcoin were to do what we did in the last cycle, which was a 20x because of all these institutions and mass adoption, this would work out to a price of $300,000. This is the equivalent. Price as of here would be around 45,000, which we are very close to. And with the ETFs in the halving, and we do pick up a little bit, this is going to be around 60,000. But like I've mentioned, slower, consistent growth coming up to the halving, being between 45 and 50 is probably a better scenario than doing a massive pump and then having to go through a massive drop before things pick up again. And the final point to note is that this run that happened in crypto that went all the way to a 20x was after a global pandemic. And so an absolute unprecedented amount of money was printed. And I just don't think it's going to be at that scale again, which is why I think probably it's more likely the market will top out at a 10x in the next 1 to 2 years, of around 150,000, and much more for many of the top altcoins. Now, on to the biggest developments that have happened in just the past couple of weeks. So first we fly on over to Brazil, and we find that their largest bank has launched Bitcoin trading, and this is a trading service for clients. And this is going to be a theme. The banks that can evolve and get on board with crypto are going to do really, really well, and the banks that try to fight it and don't integrate may not be here a few years from now. With the latest price action, we saw that the portfolio in El Salvador, which was the first nation state to add Bitcoin to its treasury, has recently come back in profit, almost $3 million now in profit. Now, as you can see, the president started buying pretty much at all-time highs, and when it came to his buys, he actually did very well. You don't really want to buy in the big peaks, you want to buy after a big crash. So technically, not knowing the future, this was a good buy. Another big crash and a buy, another massive crash and a buy, big crash, another buy, big crash, another buy. So he's doing everything well. And then the last crash, which marked the absolute bottom, they did a buy there as well. And he tweeted, they are going to buy 1 Bitcoin every single day from now on. And he pretty much dollar cost averaged all the way to where we are now. So unfortunately, because he started near the all-time highs, it's taken a while to get back in profit. But these buys is how you do it. And the fact that he nailed the absolute bottom is great. And it's really good to see that they are now back in the black. And obviously this goes for Michael Saylor as well, who's been pretty much dollar cost averaging all the ups, all the downs, and everything in between. His average price was around $30,000. So right now he's around $2.5 to $3 billion in profit. And interestingly, on Twitter, there was a famous digital artist which came up with this. This is Beeple, who's been known to get millions of dollars for his digital art. And this is his latest piece, Michael Saylor icing down a painful 72-hour erection after the recent price action. Interesting to see if this also sells for millions of dollars. Then Coinbase has rolled out crypto transfers via links. So this can be sent anywhere you can drop a link. So this could be WhatsApp, this could be Telegram, this could be Facebook, TikTok, email. You can basically send money by just generating a link. So it's one click and you can send crypto. And this is the great thing by Coinbase, moving to make crypto super easy and super useful. Then we have mega corporation IBM, and they've just introduced a new cold storage tech for crypto assets. So obviously great to see these mega corporations innovating, getting involved with crypto. And this is how IBM can get back to becoming a market leader once again. Next, we have a SEC registered finance company, Huron Finance. They've just created and launched a new product, and this is a robo-advisor, and it's built on blockchain. Again, traditional financial services integrating with blockchain. And which blockchain did they choose? You might be thinking, well, this is built on Base. And Base being Coinbase's layer 2, which is also built on optimism. Then another bank, Societe Generale, and this is one of the biggest European banks, and they've just created a euro-pegged stablecoin and launched it on a crypto exchange. So this is great, another massive bank. I think this bank has over $1 trillion of assets. So this is great to see coming out of Europe. Also in Europe, Robinhood, the very popular trading platform in the US, has just launched its crypto trading services in Europe as well. And this is perfectly timed just before the ETFs come. All eligible customers in the EU can access Robinhood crypto with over 25 cryptos available to trade. Great things happening in Europe. Then we have another institution lining up to launch their Bitcoin ETF. This time it's Swiss asset manager Pando, and they have partnered with BNY Mellon and Coinbase as their partner. So yet another company wanting to get on this Bitcoin ETF bandwagon. Talking of the ETFs, a Bloomberg analyst has said that it's a 90% chance we're going to get an approval, and the window is January 5th to the 10th. So this is now less than 1 month away. And although we are due a big pullback, this is pretty much a once in a lifetime event, and it's coming really, really soon. In fact, check this out. So what do you think happened here which sent this asset absolutely to the moon? Well, you're looking at the gold chart, and this was the time the very first gold ETF went live. And just look what happened to gold. So if this price was around 400, we've got going from 400 to 800 to 1200 to 1600 to 2000. And this is why Bitcoin is starting to go crazy. This really is a once in a lifetime event. Things are really starting to heat up in the crypto market as we start heading out of crypto spring and into crypto summer. Everyone's portfolios are back making money again, including El Salvador and Michael Saylor. The developments from all around the world keep coming through, from trillion-dollar banks to mega corporations like IBM. And what's getting everyone crazy excited in the space right now is this once-in-a-lifetime launch of ETFs, just as the Bitcoin halving event is going to be cutting Bitcoin's new supply in half. Now, with all this crazy price action that's been going on over the past month, don't be surprised if we get a big pullback, as you saw, we are tracking ahead of previous cycles. However, with this Bitcoin ETF narrative, it also really wouldn't surprise me if we just keep plowing higher. Either way, even with all the ups and the downs, 2024 is going to be an epic year for crypto, but just expect some big corrections along the way. So there you are, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Now let me know, are you bullish or bearish right now? Which narrative is winning in your head? Let me know below. However, just remember to get rid of 100% of the comment spam and trading bots that plague YouTube comments. We are trying out the new SuperThanks Commenting system. So to get your question or comment read and replied to, or just to say thanks, then use SuperThanks below. And for now, just to say, if you did enjoy anything in the video, then drop a like, and a big thank you to everyone who does, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.